Hey, what's up, YouTube family and extended family? Hey, I wanted to jump on here today and just share a few things with you about a conversation that I had with this person this weekend. Really interesting conversation, and it got me to thinking that, we're talking a lot about saving, investing, and some of those things on our other platforms and other conversations. But one really important thing that came out of this conversation is taking time to get the expenses that you have in order and under control, and to a point where you can manage them and over time possibly eliminate them altogether. Really, the fact of the matter is that most often the expense side, the amount of interest that you pay for financing, for bills, and for other things greatly exceeds the amount that a bank or any other financial instrument is paying you for that same amount of money. So today I want to talk to you just a little bit about paying down or paying off debt that you have or bills that you have in general. Just the other week, I accidentally said the name Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay, I believe, is a chef and does a lot of special things. When I actually meant Dave Ramsey, who is a financial person who's been around in the market for a very long time, and I was referencing the snowball technique, and I think I have that right. The snowball technique, which is one of the methods that I used or started using years ago to get my bills and my expenses paid down and to aggressively attack them. So for those of you who don't know, the snowball technique basically is one where you line all of your bills up from the lowest outstanding balance to the highest outstanding balance. And then you pay down each one. Once you pay off the one with the lowest balance, you move that payment to the next one. You continue to do that until each one of the bills, over time, you'll get to whatever the largest outstanding balance you have is. For most people, that's going to be a home or something like that. Interestingly, with the original snowball technique, you line them up again from lowest balance to highest balance. You do not take consideration for interest rate, what the interest rate that you're paying, and you do not take any consideration for personal priorities and things like that. It is strictly from the lowest to the highest. You pay off the low bill, then whatever the payment that you were making on that bill, you move to the next one that will now become the lowest. One important part of that is that when you first start and when you first set that up, that for the first one that you're attacking, which is the lowest amount, you pay the most that you can. For all other bills, you pay the minimum payment due to stay current. You pay the minimum payment due. So if, by example, if you had 10 bills that all had a minimum payment due of $100, that comes to $1,000, right? But you were paying on some of them 150, 120, whatever right now you're doing, you would move all of that money to the first bill that you're attacking, and the rest you pay the minimum balance. Once you satisfy that first bill, you move that total payment that you were making to the next one, and then the other 8, because you would have paid off the first, you'd have 9 remaining, you'd be on number 2. The other 8, you pay the minimum payment, and on number 2, you put all of the money you were paying to number 2 already, plus what you're picking up from number 1 that is now exhausted. That is, in essence, the snowball technique. And over time, based on wherever you start, you will knock down each of those bills until they're all gone. I used that approach and it was very successful in helping me get my bills and my finances in order. However, I modified it just slightly for myself, and I would encourage you to use any tool out there, anything that you find effective for yourself, but make sure and adjust what they have out there to fit you and to follow what you set up for your principles and your rules. So in another conversation, I told you that I take 20% of any new money that comes into my household, and I put that in my investment and saving portfolios and strategies. So when I roll that strategy out, that snowball strategy, as I pay off the first bill, instead of rolling 100% of that into the number two, I roll 80% of it, and 20% of it would be moved to my investment and saving strategy. The reason that I did that is because for me personally, I needed to feel the benefit of the effort. If you set the snowball technique up, by example, and it's going to take you 5 years to pay that down, or to get it paid off, or to a point where you're comfortable, if you have no change, or me, if I had no change in my ability to spend and manage money over 5 years, that's hard to be confident that I am being successful in what I'm doing. Even though I'm seeing some of the bills disappear, I don't actually feel the benefit of it because I'm rolling the money directly into something else. So by taking 20% each time, now I have more discretionary money and I can feel the impact. Yes, I pay them off just a little slower, 20% lower than I would if I was doing 100%, but still I follow those principles pretty rigidly, and I was able to get there. The other thing that I did to adjust that approach was bills that are non-interest bearing. Non-interest bearing, like if you have a doctor bill or something like that that allows you to make payments on it, but there is no interest payment, I move those all the way to the end. Regardless of balance, I move those all the way to the end on when I would attack them. And I would pay minimum payment due when they were due, as opposed to trying to aggressively pay off something that they're not charging me anything for. It's basically a free loan or free hold. I just pay the minimum payment due until I satisfy it. So those are at the end. And I would encourage you to take a look at that. Look at what you are receiving in terms of interest. In the last note, I talked to you about, are you paying to save? And that is really an extension of this. You know, if you are saving aggressively, which I encourage everyone to do, you do need to make some choices and determine whether what you are paying for the financing and for the resources that are available to you exceeds what you are earning on the investments and the savings and the things that you have. If there are that large of a variance between the two, you probably need to take a close look at those and make some decisions for yourself. Okay, so to summarize again, the approach that we're talking about is the snowball technique. That is not something that I personally created. It's something that has been around for many, many years and is used by many people to get their finances in order. Just as important as it is for you to plan, save, and invest in your future, it is equally, if not more important, to take a close look and get control of the resources that you already have available to you. If you pay things off, if you clear debt, then in essence that feels just like you are generating or receiving more money because you have more resources at your disposal to make choices and decisions. All right, so I wanted to jump in here and share this with you today. It is week 4 of our 52-week challenge. I will be sharing our 52-week challenge update later this week. But this conversation that I had with someone really made me want to share this information and encourage you all to just go out there, look online, find information about the snowball technique. But there are a lot of different techniques. There are a lot of ways to get your finances in order, and whichever one you choose to use to reach your goals, make sure that you tailor it to fit how you function and how you operate. That's the most important thing. Remember, as I always say, it is your money, so there is no wrong answer. And I always share with you the quote from Arthur Ashe: to start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And using things like the snowball technique is right at the core of that quote. Starting where you are, using the resources you have, and doing what you can to work towards your financial freedom. So thank you for your time today.